Good evening. Good evening, movie fans. If you're wondering, if you're new to the channel and you're wondering why I'm wearing a reindeer hat, it's a sort of tribute to Frozen. Let it go. Let it go. Da, 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 da. Let it go, Will. Let it go. Guys, what a day. What a day. What a day. Every time it sort of crosses my mind that Will Smith walked up to Chris Rock and slapped him, I can't believe it. It's kind of unbelievable. Does anyone else find that? It's almost like, did that really happen in this weird world where everything's going mad and batshit crazy? Lady Mandy, Academy members just met over the incident. Don't know the decision, but they said it was a heated and divided meeting. Oh, maybe that's about whether they take his Oscar away or not. I don't think, we said earlier, I don't think they should take his Oscar. Anyway, there's been so much coverage, hasn't there, of the Will Smith, Chris Rock thing. We could sit for hours and just carry on talking and talking and talking, which, to be fair, we did this morning. And really, the story's still the same. It's just kind of, I suppose it's made a little bit worse. I mean, Nadia's kind of shifted her opinion on it because, you know, him dancing and sort of seeming utterly unaffected by what he did and sort of happy. I mean, it seems a lot of younger people skew towards supporting Will, and older people skew to not necessarily supporting Chris, but recognising that it's a slippery slope if you sanction it. But anyway, it was a night of celebration for cinema, a night of heralding the greatest achievements of movie makers, actors, behind the camera, in front of the camera. Though, of course, in 8 categories, if you were behind the camera, you weren't as important as everyone else. Some of you might know that the Academy shortened the ceremony by removing a lot of what they call the beneath the line awards for things like cinematography, editing, sound, visual effects, production design, all that kind of stuff. Original score considered beneath the line. I think that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Tana Smullen, imagine if Ricky Gervais was the host and said it. Yeah, there we go. So I thought we'd just run through some of the categories and actually have a sense of, yeah, absolutely amazing Sophie R, Kenneth Branagh's achievement. Amazing that he hasn't won before. And just run through some of the awards, some of the winners, what we thought of them winning. So yeah, I watched the show. They spliced them in, so you still got to see. Yes, it was condensed, wasn't it? But some of their speeches were shortened, which was a shame. So Dune. Has anyone seen Dune? Is anyone a fan of Dune? I realise it's kind of like more for the sort of sci-fi end of cinephile sort of stuff. Will and Jada have been openly attacked non-stop. The disrespect is too much. Fair dues. Dune won, I think, 6 or 7 Academy Awards, was it? I think 6. I'm just having a look here. I think it won 6, or it might have been 7. They won in visual effects. They won original score for Hans Zimmer, cinematography, film editing, production design, and sound. And I think that kind of makes sense. Hello, everyone. Gemma Samlin. I saw Dune. It was very well made, but felt tad hollow. The 84 version is more authentic in a way. Oh, interesting. That's the David Lynch version. It did win 6. I thought it would win 6. I was doubting my own notes. Yeah, and I think that's wise. I think that's fair. I suppose one of the films that a lot of people are kind of bemoaning, why didn't it get anything, was No Time to Die. What do you think of that, guys? Do you think No Time to Die should have perhaps won? I mean, most Bond films have great cinematography, lots of sound editing, lots of crazy crashing editing and all that kind of malarkey. Do you feel that the I wish the score went to the Power of the Dog? Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, original score, yeah, quite something, isn't it? Dune. It went to Dune. So yeah, so Dune in a weird way is in the technicals the biggest winner of the night. It won 6 Academy Awards, 6. As we'll discover, Coda won 3. And I have to say, when I woke up this morning, I kind of had a sense they were going to do quite well, but I didn't think they were going to do as well as that. In other under the line or, you know, beneath the line sort of winners, Eyes of Tammy Faye. Has anyone seen The Eyes of Tammy Faye? Starring Jessica Chastain. Jessica Chastain. An actress that I have to confess I've not ever sort of particularly been into. I saw The Eyes of Tammy Faye, but I don't know why. We didn't review it on the channel. I saw it. Have any of you seen it? The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I thought it was well deserved. David Shields, I thought she was quite amazing. If you think about it, if you haven't seen it, it's the film of a, I forget that what's Tammy Faye, the Fays. They're a couple, husband and wife team, who are TV evangelists. And it's their sort of, you know, humble beginnings to becoming huge TV evangelists, to corruption, and all the rest of it. It co-stars Andrew Garfield as her husband, Tammy Faye's husband, played by Jessica Chastain. Someone just said there that it wasn't a great film, but her performance was good. I entirely agree. Entirely agree. I think there's a strong argument that she might have it was a good imitation, good impersonation. But I have to say, most of her performance is an extraordinarily close up. And I thought so I wasn't surprised that she won. But we'll get to that in a minute. So Isa Tammy Faye won for Best Makeup and Hairstyling, and I think that's right. It's a period piece. Sophie R. Utterly outrageous that Hans Zimmer received his award out of the live show. He's an institution. I mean, he is. He's done the score to something like 86 different films, hasn't he, or something? Absolutely outrageous. It's outrageous. But I mean, I've got a feeling that next year they're not going to keep those categories out. I don't see how they can. It splits the film industry in two. You know, where everyone's trying to say we're a big family and we're a big team. Not really when you get your other ones hooked in half. Reese, you need to look into Scenes from a Marriage with Oscar Isaac. It was a limited series. I heard she was great in that. And since The Card Counter, Oscar Isaac has gone up in my estimation, and I'm really looking forward to Moon Knight, which is landing soon with him. So The Eyes of Tammy Faye won Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Cruella won Best Costume Design. And when on reflection, I think that's probably a right decision. Did any of you guys see Cruella? Starring Emily No, what's her name? Yeah, Emily Watson, isn't it? Or is that, no, Emily Watson's the one from, who does it star? Emma, oh my God, what's her name? From Cruella, I've forgotten her name. Emma Watson? Anyway, Cruella was the Disney live action version of 101 Dalmatians. Emma Stone, thank you very much. Emma Stone's so good. Do you remember her in Birdman? That brilliant solo scene, it was so good. So Cruella won for costume design, and I have to say, I think the costume design award should have gone to Cruella. It was absolutely phenomenal. Jessica Chastain did a really lovely thing by walking the red carpet early so she could go into the theatre early to watch the early awards be awarded and cheer on her colleagues, Sophie R. Jessica Chastain, you rock. You rock. Becky Fithian, I've seen Clifford, a Big Red Dog film, and it's a good family film. Why wasn't that nominated? Jane Bentley, the costumes were on point in Cruella. I agree. So I think that's a good winner. Then we start to move on to the sort of not beneath the line. What a horrible line, isn't it? What a horrible phrase, beneath the line. Keep your editors in their edit rooms. Keep your cinematographers in their crew trucks. Keep your makeup people in the dressing room. Not very nice, is it? Keep your sound editors in their dubbing suites. Anyway, adapted screenplay went to the writer of Coda, which is the film. And I'm going to have to make a spectacular confession here. I haven't seen Coda. It was one of those films that we mentioned it on the Popcorn Junkies Instagram account like about 2 years ago that it was coming. A film about a principally deaf family with a child who could hear. When I say normally, I don't mean normally, but, you know, could hear, and the challenges and the travails of that. I'm obviously going to go and watch Coda now, Elliot Gonzalez, but a real outside sort of, you know, you felt as festival season, because, you know, at this time of year, this is the kind of cumulative moment of a sort of huge festival machine where films are just, you know, everything's vying for kind of awards. And Coda just kept sort of hitting through, didn't it? So adapted screenplay. If I thought there was one other film that was going to give it a run for its money, I thought it was going to be The Power of the Dog. I was surprised. In fact, I was surprised generally that The Power of the Dog didn't get more. But it's kind of come in for a lot of criticism for being one of the most boring films ever made. I mean, mine and my mother's review doesn't come to that conclusion, but I can see how it could be considered as such. Oh, there we go. Look, CODA stands for Child of Deaf Adults, and therefore a child that can hear amongst a potentially majority deaf family. Very moving. Very moving. Shana Hader, the writer-director, had an absolutely fairy tale night, couldn't find any backers when she was trying to make the film, went to Sundance, found a distributor in Apple. Just a wonderful story. What a wonderful story. And that, I think, is what makes the Oscars special. And what a shame that a narrative like that for CODA is overshadowed by essentially almost a boxing fight by the best actor in the best actor category. It's such a shame, isn't it? So Coda was a winner there, and it also knocked out the Lost Daughter. You could argue a lot of people we reviewed the Lost Daughter, me and Nadia. We liked it, but a lot of people said the Lost Daughter was boring, and a lot of people said Power of the Dog was boring. The voters at the Academy likewise thought they were boring, and so Coda was a justified winner in the adapted screenplay department. Original screenplay, Kenneth Branagh. Now I could sense that all the news coverage and all the media outlets were wanting to sort of sharpen their pencils and get their early copy into whatever website they put their copy into now, and say it was a big night for the Brits. They always like that, don't they? It's always like it was a big night for the Brits. Well, it wasn't quite as big a night as we would have liked. I think people were hoping secretly that Belfast would do better than it did. But it did win original screenplay, and that did go to Kenneth Branagh. A very personal film, a very sort of autobiographical film, and I like that. I think that's good. I think other films in there in with a chance were Don't Look Up. I'm on my own with this, guys. Who liked Don't Look Up? I found it. I didn't even find it funny. I didn't find it funny at all. And bearing in mind, we didn't stay up for the actual ceremony. So, we haven't had a chance to sit down and watch the entire ceremony and listen to all their speeches. But Don't Look Up. Is someone a Don't Look Up fan? I'm sure there is. I thought Leonardo DiCaprio was trying a bit too hard. Yeah. Oh, look, also a little funny thing I've come to notice with Ken Branagh and Will Smith. Ever since the disaster of Wild Wild West, it's like they make it a mission to avoid each other in similar settings. How funny. Lucy Kitson, you hated it too. Not heard anyone like Don't Look Up, so didn't watch. Oh, right, okay. Not a fan of Don't Look Up, Elliot Gonzalez. Amy Schumer made a great gag about it at the start. I just didn't think it was very good. I mean, we bailed out after the first. I liked Jonah Hill. He was good in the, as the president's kind of... was cringe, Lucy. Yeah, Lucy Kitson. I thought that. So wasn't sad about that. King Richard was in there for original screenplay. I'm going to have to make another confession. The reason I didn't want to go and see King Richard wasn't its subject matter. It was what I call a sort of flat pack designed Oscar contender. And the first time I saw the trailer, I thought, this is about just winning an Oscar, not necessarily about making a great film. And I've not heard great things about it. I felt like I was predictably going to get exactly what I knew I was going to get from it. That's not to say I shouldn't have watched it and judged it on its own terms, but sometimes when there are so many films to watch, you've got to make some brutal judgments. And I thought King Richard isn't one of those films that's gonna do it for me. I just felt I knew what I was going to get. So King Richard, I wasn't. The Worst Person in the World was in there for original screenplay. Me and Nadia saw it this weekend. A review is landing. Incredible film. An incredibly interesting film, The Worst Person in the World. It's a Norwegian film. And of course, Licorice Pizza. Licorice Pizza. Now, we loved Licorice Pizza. And I think it was an incredibly interesting, clever, funny, good film. It's come in for a bit of stick because of the older woman and the younger chap's relationship. I don't know if that's a deal breaker or not. I don't know if, strictly speaking, it was illegal. I don't know what. But in a weird way, I don't think Licorice Pizza was the right one to win either. I think Belfast was the right winner. I think original screenplay was a good winner. Summer of Soul won documentary. I think it was the documentary category, wasn't it, that Chris Rock was announcing. Summer of Soul, an archival film. I forget the year it's set in. Again, I haven't seen Summer of Soul yet. A couple of friends have said you've got to. I had all my vested interests in the documentary department were Flee, which is the animated documentary film about a person fleeing and evacuating themselves from Afghanistan. Sucked. What do you think Licorice Pizza should have won? I was rooting for it, but I would have quite liked Best Director, but I think that would have been for all his other films, in a sense. Do you know what I mean? So Best Documentary, Summer of Soul, of course, the shit hit the fan at that point. So then we get onto the actors. Best Supporting Actor, the winner was Troy Kotsur. What an amazing year. What an amazing... It is. Summer of Soul is on Disney Plus. That's where I'm going to check it out. Yeah, set in '69, an archival pull together of the equivalent sort of Woodstock, the Woodstock for the Black American population, you know, which has been sort of hidden and not given the same emphasis or the same importance as something like Woodstock. So, you know, really important cultural milestone historical film. That's Summer of Soul, the documentary. Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotzer, the winner for Coda. What a year! He won the BAFTA, but he beat Cody Smith-McPhee, J.K. Simmons, Kieran Hines. I was really secretly hoping that Kieran Hines, who plays the grandfather in Belfast, was going to get in there. Jesse Plemons was great in Power of the Dog, but it wasn't a sort of cut-through enough, strong enough role. J.K. Simmons was brilliant in the Being the Ricardos, was it? I have to say, Being the Ricardos is well worth a watch. Do check it out. It's that, if you've got two films that you need to catch up on, check out that and The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Be interesting. Yeah. So Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotzer, who of course was one of the deaf character actors in Coda. So that was their second award. Well deserved. I wanted it to go to Troy. I wanted it to go to Kieran, but obviously not having seen Coda, I couldn't be in a position to say about Troy. Best Supporting Actress, Ariana DeBose, Latin, openly lesbian actress, brilliantly progressive choice, but not for that reason. I thought she was the best thing in West Side Story. Without a doubt, she was the best thing in it. She beat Kirsten Dunst from The Power of the Dog. I thought she was very good. She didn't say much, but she exuded all sorts of layers of kind of unease and depression and sadness, I thought, Kirsten Dunst. Jessie Buckley was sensational, I thought, in The Lost Daughter. I actually preferred her being on screen to Olivia Colman, if you haven't seen that. Ingenue Ellis from King Richard, and Judi Dench from Belfast. Judi Dench can't do it again. She can't do it again. Elliot Gonzalez, I'm going to say it now, I'm going to say it loud, I'm going to say it proud. I really didn't like West Side Story. I didn't see the point of it. I didn't understand why we had to remake it and rewatch it when the original had done so well. I didn't even buy into the idea that it was a more modern rendering of you know, sort of, you know, cultures fighting amongst themselves. You know, it was still made by a white male heterosexual director. I didn't understand the point. I didn't understand the point of making it. You know, I just didn't see the point. But within it, Ariana DeBose was by far the strongest thing. And yeah, I mean, I can't believe Spielberg didn't. Don't get me wrong, there were some set pieces in there which were great, and I loved the original West Side Story. Questlove was totally undermined by Will Smith. This is the thing. The thing about the Will Smith thing is it completely undermined the documentary winning. It completely undermined and eclipsed Coda's achievements on the night. You know, a remarkably small scale, struggle to be made, almost, well, very independent film, you know, gaining the greatest of accolades. And meanwhile, everyone's just talking about whether Will slapped or punched him. Yeah, so you're right, Sophia. Thank you for pointing that out. So Ariana DeBose, winner of Best Supporting Actress. Good news. International film. Went to Drive My Car. I was personally rooting for the worst person in the world. Drive My Car. The reason I haven't seen Drive My Car is it's 3 hours long. Haven't had the time. And Nanny Di said it was bloody boring. It's not a hard sell, is it, to go? But it's won everything, Mum. There's got to be something in it. There's got to be something in it. Has anyone seen Drive My Car? And it's based on a Murakami story, short story or novella or something. So Drive My Car, as I say, I was rooting for the worst person in the world. I think Flea was in there too, the animated documentary. I would have been pleased to see that. Riz Ahmed did win the short film. I think Riz Ahmed is also one of the producers of Flea. Did Riz win as a producer, I think, on the short film? I think he did. Best Director. They're discussing it on Zoom whether Will Smith will lose the Oscar. God, well, if he does lose the Oscar, let's get to the actor category and see who could take it off him. This is like a drugs test and someone failing it, isn't it? It's like, hang on, steward's inquiry. Let's rejudge this. Best Director went to Jane Campion, director of The Power of the Dog. I'm going to defend it a little bit. A lot of people saying it's a boring film. I think it was an incredibly layered, contemplative and thought-provoking film. I thought for me it did what Brokeback Mountain did a bit too obviously. I thought this did it in a much more subtle way, and I thought it was an interesting film about male masculinity, toxic masculinity, sort of hiding beneath the surface of Western culture. So you know, I thought it was a very good film, and I thought it was remarkably directed with a very gentle hand, very gentle hand. So that was Best Director. She beat Ken Branagh. Shame. Steven Spielberg, West Side Story. Sorry, didn't think it was his best. Paul Thomas Anderson. I think I would have liked to see him just nudge in there. It's not his greatest film, Licorice Pizza, but it was just a feel-good movie, and I thought it did a better job than Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood of taking us back to a time in LA that was just mystical and breezy and sunbaked and lovely. And obviously, was it Ryusuke Hamaguchi, the director of Drive My Car? He was also in there too. If you watch closely, says Sophie, the camera caught Benedict Cumberbatch's face in the background of Will Smith winning and walking to the stage. He looked very annoyed that he lost to him, considering things. Poor old Benedict Cumberbatch, he's missed out on the top prizes in so many things, hasn't he? In so many areas, he's just been pipped to the post. He must be thinking, will I ever get it? Maybe he'll get it as Doctor Strange, you never know. My favourite Paul Thomas Anderson film, I really liked Phantom Thread, and I think There Will Be Blood is possibly one of my faves. Oh, hang on, sorry, I just flicked you off. Sean Thomas, Nicole Kidman's face. Go and check out Nadia's Instagram stories. Nicole Kidman's face is fantastic. Yeah, Sophie, I think There Will Be Blood is a masterpiece. So Best Director, Jane Campion. Animated feature went to Encanto. Not seen it. Of the animated features, I have seen Luca, which I thought was charming. Flea, again, the animated documentary about Afghanistan refugee. Raya, is it The Lost Dragon? Disney, well represented there, but it went to Encanto, which I have to confess we haven't seen. Gemma Samlin, Will Smith should have been removed from the theatre and had his Oscar handed to him in absentia. I don't know if they can really take it away. Can they? I mean, he won it. It's not like he was taking, you know, performance-enhancing drugs or anything like that. Yes, please for Riz Ahmed too, Faith Goodman. It's good. Did you see the Twitter post, Ninad, of Hans Zimmer that says it all, what he thinks about the categories being excluded? No, I'm presuming he was furious. I would be. Hans Zimmer, he's a titan. He's a titan of soundtrackingness. I like Benedict Cumberbatch too. So then we get on to Best Actress. And I was really shocked this morning to wake up. Not shocked because she wasn't good, but I was shocked to see that Jessica Chastain won. But then when you look at the others, none of them really, apart from Nicole Kidman. I think Nicole Kidman's performance in Being the Ricardos is quite astonishing, and for me proved that she can do. I've got a bit worried with, I don't know if you have, guys, I've got a bit worried with Nicole Kidman that she's the same character in virtually every part she plays now, and this proved that she's got range still, and that she was great opposite Javier Bardem. So I thought of the others, Penelope Cruz, don't get me wrong, I love Penelope Cruz. I thought Parallel Mothers was a beyond average movie. Beyond average. It was so average. It was frightening. And, you know, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, as people have said here, it wasn't a great film, but she was absolutely a standout within it. I mean, she gives it her all. It's a proper, you know, no vanity in her performance. And as I say, an extreme close-up for huge swathes of the film, playing a sort of naivety, innocence, and tragedy in there too. I think Nicole Kidman never recovered from the backlash of being cast as Lucille Ball after Kate Blanchett left the role, but I agree, I think she was great. I'm pleased Nicole Kidman did it. I'm beginning at Kate Blanchett in Nightmare Alley. I'm worried Kate Blanchett has now become Nicole Kidman. She's just phoning in the same performance every time. Olivia Colman, good, but that film really was Olivia Colman's and Jessie Buckley's film. I mean, you couldn't really, I don't think, give one the prize and not the other. They were the flip sides, the yin and the yang of the character. They really were. That's what he posted. It's 2 a.m. in Amsterdam and my daughter Zoe woke me up to go to the hotel bar. Wow. Nenad. Andrew Garfield is majorly underrated in The Eyes of Tammy Faye. He was very good. He was very good in it. Yeah. he wasn't nominated for Tick 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 Boom, or was it Tick Tock Boom, whatever it was called. Best actor went to Will Smith. And as you just said, so Benedict Cumberbatch looked furious. Javier Bardem didn't feel should have won it. Denzel Washington, I thought, unlike Nanny Dye, I thought he was pretty good in Macbeth. I didn't mind him at all, but I didn't feel it was Oscar worthy. Andrew Garfield, there he was. I think that was TikTok Boom, wasn't it? I haven't seen King Richard. I just didn't fancy it. I just thought I would. I even felt I knew what I was going to get from Will Smith. And I'm going to say something really honest, and I think this gets underestimated. But this is why I don't think makeup and costume should be a beneath the line award. I found Will Smith's wig diabolical. Even in the trailer, I just thought, oh no. And I think, you know, hair and makeup is really important, because hair and makeup is one of those crucial aspects that makes you believe in the fiction that you're watching. And The Eyes of Tammy Faye, for example, really immerses you in the look, the feel, the make, everything. But for me, the whole Will Smith thing just felt like what's it called? Like a photo fit. It was like a kit design. If you could get a kit to make the perfect film to win an Oscar, that was it. This is the kit. The kit to make an Oscar film, and it includes a wig for Will Smith. So there you go, Will Smith won. Now, if it was taken away from him, who should it go to? That's the question. Go on then. Go on. Yes, Steph Schultz, absolutely. Go on. Who of those four should win it if Will Smith has his Oscar taken from him? I don't think he will. But who do you think? Who do you think should win? My dedication. I'm gonna repeatedly bemoan wigs forever. I've got no wigs in the next short I'm doing, I'll tell you that. Second-hand Oscar, Benedict Happy Bees. Benedict Saskia Guy. No, Reese, look, in terms of culturally and socially, it's such an important story. And I got frustrated that I thought, oh, this is going to be given an obvious treatment. But you're right, you should still give it a chance. The emotional narrative of raising two young girls from a father might connect with you. True, yeah, it's true. I hadn't thought of it in that respect, to be honest. I thought it's a story I'm going to know. It's a story I can predict, yeah. But you're right. Really, you really shouldn't damn a film when you haven't watched it. I'm a big believer in that. Cooper Hoffman, he wasn't nominated, was he? Nobody will want a second-hand Oscar, says Claire McNabb. That's a very good point. That's a very, very good point. Yeah. It's a bit like that film Love is Blind, when someone chose to marry someone as a second choice. No thanks. I don't want to do second choice. And that brings us to Best Picture. And Coda was the winner, and it's just awful when the Best Picture winner is a film that you haven't seen. I think this came as a pleasant surprise to everyone, and I think it should be it should instigate all of us to go and watch it that haven't watched it. I certainly will be. And you know, it was up against some pretty stiff opposition. Didn't think Nightmare Alley should have been in there. Didn't think Don't Look Up should have been in there. Dune, good but niche. Drive My Car. I don't know, I just haven't got 3.5 hours to spare. Belfast I thought was a good contender. Licorice Pizza would have been an indulgence, that would have been lovely. Power of the Dog I think had to be in there. West Side Story, not really. I mean, it was almost like Steven Spielberg had the sort of template already made and just fitted each shot back. So I reckon he was on set looking at, right, that's that scene, okay, let's do that scene here. And King Richard obviously in there, so I guess there must have been a moment. So I think it's, you know, full respect to Coda and its team for proving that you can make small films that have an enormous impact. And I just think that's really heartwarming and encouraging. It's the kind of film that, as I say, has moved through the festival circuit by stealth and quietly, gained momentum to the very point that it charmed and won over the Academy. And I think that's really great. I think in that sense, it's better that won rather than something that, like The Power of the Dog, which in a sense was an obvious one and everyone was talking. I think The Power of the Dog peaked too soon, didn't it, as we were moving towards the Academy Awards. It's like, you know, if you peak too soon with the interest, it dies off. I mean, apparently there's a huge strategy to when you release films in the Oscar window of time, the festival time. If you release a film closer to the Oscars, it has more impact and it's going to stay in the minds of the Academy voters. Whereas if you're a film that's opened at the beginning of the Oscar sort of eligibility season, there's enough time for it to sort of distance itself and become less meaningful or less important. There you go, guys. There's a little bit of a chat through the winners, and I think it's important that we have chatted through the winners and not just focused on the stroke punch of Will Smith, which, let's face it, for the rest of the year, for the rest of eternity, it's going to be known as Chris Rock said, as the Oscars where Chris Rock got smashed in the face by Will Smith. I'm really curious to know how that's going to play out. So let's see what the Academy decides. Tell us your thoughts. Share your thoughts below. Tell us what you think should have won. Tell us what you think shouldn't have won. Where have there been some gross misjustices and injustices? Let us know. And see you in the morning. See you tomorrow for